Hello, and welcome to Local Food Information Live. Congratulations to Local Food Bloomington, celebrating 18 years. There's currently no plan on how these presentations will unfold, only that they will continue to support everyone in successfully uplifting the quality of food available in the home table, on the home table, in the community, and beyond. And so, Local Food Information Live begins by saying that the local food fairy of Local Food Bloomington is still here. The expanse between the previous gathering of food news, local and beyond, has been the longest in our 18-year history. It is easy to be caught up in living as well as possible, and so that is how it has been with me. I have a disorder that at times puts me on the sidelines. I thought I had weird allergies making me sensitive in extreme ways. It turned out to be a little more than that. My sister used to joke that I needed a bubble to live in. No, I need a dome. If you want more information on that, go to aircretebuilds.blogspot.com. Change often happens when we allow it, when we embrace it, and definitely when it is forced upon us. As usual, I have looked near and far to find resources and information of value to the most. If you want to get right to the news, then go to http://www.greendub.net/foodnews.atm. Otherwise, please continue listening to my ramblings. When I sit to eat, it would be great to say that most of the food I was consuming were from the Ohio Valley bioregion. That ship sailed away with the dismantling of small farms and previous loss of interest in gardening. We're now seeing more people returning to the garden according to Farmer Food Share. 1 in 3 households, according to them, are now growing some food. When we sit to eat, we are enjoying the world's food with small amounts of it being grown locally. We have come a long way. There is much more local and organic food available in Bloomington than there was, say, 35 years ago. What food we enjoy eating, however they are grown, exists because many someones cared enough to save the seed and shared it up through who knows how many generations. Think about it. Now, much of Earth's abundant diversity has been lost as human patterns shifted away from deep connected relationships with land. Those relationships afforded us the opportunity to have many more food choices, but that was when people were gardening to benefit the home table, and many took pride in the patterns of the planted earth and full pantries. Communities once understood that food security was connected to what was immediately available. Well, what is on your table? Your neighbors? In the restaurants? When you're eating out, some establishments offer some locally produced resources. In the home, you may be eating mostly organic, no matter it is from the global local. What we purchase and consume is all from the global local food table, and it has been whittled away and is all being threatened by interests that do not care for sustainability nor regeneration, and instead seem to intentionally do harm to all aspects of our food system from the soil and seed upward. If you know me, you know that I am a cup mostly full person. I'm always seeing rainbows and know that we humans are awesome and can do better for our home, Earth. Sorry, I ran on there. In the early 1980s, according to the Graham Center report on seed, the U.S. had 80% fewer seeds and plant stock than cataloged in the census at the turn of the century. Of the plant and seed stock that remained, most of it was in tomato seed. I think of seeds as our priceless jewels. They are irreplaceable, and the little that remains is under attack. Healthy food, and that means healthy seed, is a right that many are denied. In recent years, we have been hearing more about food deserts in the U.S., areas with limited or no choices for fresh produce. My community is fortunate to have a winter farmers market, giving local growers an extension on their selling season, and the community another opportunity to socialize around locally produced food and farm products. As long as I have transportation, I have access to that market and the area food shops. Otherwise, I live in a food desert. Living in a rural area, I expected that. People living in communities within cities should not have to expect to be without fresh foods. Locally, we have a co-op and other stores, all offering organics, and now some locally produced products. Understanding how and why organic food has taken so much of the grocery market is important for all members of a community to comprehend, because when people do understand the meaning of certified organic, biodynamic, and its relationship to renewable energy and sustainable dwellings, then we will see greater movement towards regeneration and, I hope, food equity as well. For us to regenerate, we must first learn to nurture and know that our food is alive and needs the nurturing of healthy soils and potable water. For many adults and youth alike, there is a great separation between our connection to and dependence upon the natural world. When I was a kid, perhaps because as a society we were hot into the great shift from rural communities to town and city living, and people still wanted their children to have a basic understanding about food. This was done through a simple task that was included in one or more elementary science classes I took. That planting left a lasting impression on me and possibly others. We all grew up knowing where our food came from and how it got to the stores. That was elementary school during the early 1960s. Every classroom had a terrarium, and some of them included turtles, and in the springtime, trays of Dixie cups planted with, I think, a pinto bean lining the shelves beside them. It was a time when our government felt that every child should also have PE, and they taught us how to kneel properly in the bomb shelter basement of every school. That was then. Now, why did educators think such a simple task as planting a bean seed, caring for it, and watching it come into life would be important? I think that if they were wanting to impress and maybe inspire a child's point of view, or at least understanding, bean growing was amazing reality and memorable science. It was coupled with note-taking, journaling, observation, discussion, drawing, and report writing. It is indeed magical when the cotyledons begin to crack through the soil, then spread those wings. Science that teaches awareness, care, nurturing, and appreciation for all the power, the life within a seed. I think that's pretty amazing. At that time, food knowledge was still considered important. How can we turn our education toward the concept of sustainability and regeneration, coupled with solar sciences and sustainable dwellings? Can we address plastics as other nations have? And can we say yes to what will sustain and heal and regenerate our local food communities? I know that I use the word regeneration a lot. It is because I embrace the word radical, which originates from the Latin word for root. With root, you can regenerate. Regeneration begins in the kitchen with the food, which is the land, the water, the air. It begins with changing behaviors, even when they are not convenient. I believe that we can regenerate with what remains. Imagine this reality, a country helping its environment by reducing its plastic waste by 80% in only 3 months by simply banning plastic carry-away bags in all stores. Whoa. We can have an impact locally by carrying a cloth bag or only accepting paper. In Bloomington, the Trashin group of the Center for Sustainable Living will show you how to turn old t-shirts into bags. Perhaps the current sustainable living leaders throughout this community and others can come together and follow the example set some years ago by Green Dove Incorporated with its projects, Local Food, and the Indiana Holistic Health Network when they were still projects of the Center for Sustainable Living, and facilitated 4 Simply Healthy fairs to highlight food, health, and wellness practices in the community and surrounding areas, the last of which was held in 2009 in the atrium of the Bloomington's City Hall. What is needed will require our leaders to be radical in support of food security. I wish I could help the city facilitate a Council of All Beings for Earth Day. Whenever I think of it, I think about Lucille Bertuccio, but that's another subject, and it is a ritual that brings people together. In my food news gathering, I was at first angry to tears at some changes, the loss I saw in the food world. I had to step away from dealing with this for a little while, and when I returned, I was ready to dive deep, where I found that more people are empowering themselves individually and in small groups to act towards sustainability and using a variety of practices, including traditional spiritual practices where food is used as meditation. Whether humans live in the city or small towns, more people are reacquainting themselves with what is in their food, where their food comes from, and for some, how to grow it in healing, healthy, and sustainable ways. I expect now, as awareness grows about what is needed for our local global food system's health, our health too, we will see many more changes in communities reflecting this awareness. Opportunities to evolve personal food habits are everywhere. Come gently to your food knowledge and table. It makes digestion a little bit easier. I think that we can expect to see increasing numbers of communities looking at the rising cost of disease and reduced funding, seeking to implement food policy that supports food as prescription medicine. I'm laughing here because this is really wishful. We can also expect to see restaurants being more aware of the dietary needs of the fast maturing population, their caregivers and young, who in concerning numbers are developing a number of the diseases previously attributed to the elderly. Being conscious of these dietary shifts will ensure loyalty from customers who enjoy eating out, but more importantly, want to enjoy maintaining good health in longer life. Change is happening. I recall people laughing disrespectfully at many people back in the 1970s when they first began hearing the word vegetarian or people talking about organic foods. Organics are now front and center in the shops and being consumed in greater numbers every year as healthy food awareness grows. As prescription costs rise and because of their complications, many people also are turning to healthy food as part of their wellness, and these shifts lead them to consider the air, soil, seed, the water's impact on the health and wellness of their bodies. It truly is less expensive to eat organically than to purchase medicines to recover what might have been maintained through eating healthy foods to begin with. A few hospitals are beginning to have organic gardens or are only offering organic foods for their patients and also in their cafeterias. And to my joy, some of them are fragrance-free. Can you envision a hospital with a greenhouse where some of the longer-term patients might help care for the plants and where instead of making endless laps through hospital corridors, they could be walking or rolling through nurturing green spaces and even, if desired, have employment working with the plants to reduce their hospital cost? What a therapy program, and what a load it would take off of people's minds. What if prisons allowed persons interested to develop organic food gardens, microgreen gardens, and let the funds from their sales go to their families and to their children's educations? Okay, I'll stop here because I have a lot of what ifs. Also, imagine hospitals that are fragrance free and using environmentally safe practices in just cleaning everything, so that the increasing numbers of persons experiencing environmental sensitivities and diseases can safely seek treatment when necessary. That aside, decades ago, a friend named Hulda Clark said, all life forms evolve in direct relationship to their nutrition. When organisms are modified, the food may look beautiful, but it does not read the same to the body, so it may not be used and may even be challenged by the body. When food is your medicine, you want real food. Also, the people making the GMO and life-threatening pesticides and other garbage have been actively destroying farmers through their GMO seed in the Americas and around the world through patenting the seed as a strategy to gain control of the world's food table. Many have been saying no for decades, such as the Organic Consumers Association. Now the world is coming together to say no to death and yes to organic wellness, regeneration, and life for the planet. Take a look at Food News. That's at http://www.greendove.net/foodnews.htm. There's a lot of information to consider and many useful resources. As we have asked since our beginnings, if you are doing work that supports local food resources, contact us. If you would like to support this work, we'd appreciate it. And please share this information. It will be posted to our local Food Bloomington blog. And also look for us having a new address soon. Thank you very much.